Nigerians have been clamoring for the betterment of Nigerian football. That's Nigerian Professional Football League. It has been a kind of story where you fluctuate when it comes to Nigerian football. Well, right now, if we look at the African Continental Championship, we have 4 teams started the journey. We have only 2 left, and we just have to up our game. That's why we need to do something quick concerning running football in Nigeria as really business, and also see how we can grow our league. Welcome you on the show, 360 Sport. On Trust TV, I am Adeni Gishafe. We'll be looking at the first story that has to do with the club owners. That's the NPFL club owners. They visited the NFF president, that's Ibrahim Gusau. That was yesterday. And right after the meeting, the Gusau met with them. He said, well, they seek better package and more fruitful NPFL. NPFL has been the bedrock. If we talk about Nigeria performing at the Continental, both CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation, this is where we get it in from that participate. And if they don't do well at all, it shows that our league is also having problem. Well, after they met, they actually outlined some problems facing the NPFL. Quickly, let's look at the problems. We talk about lack of sponsorship, no TV broadcast. We talk about poor officiating, insufficient funding, lack of match integrity, poor remuneration of match officials, and huge indebtedness in this area. Matches won on the basis of highest bidder. That's buying at matches now. Then you have poor infrastructure, incompetent administrators, and here's of others, not forgetting insecurity. And even they want to add bad roads when they're traveling for matches. A lot of things that can be added, but at least they outlined these 9 problems facing Nigerian Professional Football League. And we're going to be looking at this particular story with much aggression coming from Vincent Christopher. Good to have you, Vincent. It's time to talk sport again.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Good. I just outlined those problems facing NPFL that the club owners outlined to the NFF president, the new one, that's the Ibrahim Gusau, that they should work on this. Maybe at least somebody can turn around. We can see our league getting better. If all this can be at least solved, or maybe even if it's 60–70%, at least our league will be back.
Yes, we hope for a better management of the Nigerian Premier League, because he just came on board. He's been elected, he just came on board, and considering the fact that somebody was there before, and this man, his tenure expired and he's no longer. So when you're coming in as a new chairman of the board, what you need to do first is look at the failure of the other person, what he failed to do, or rather what he was not able to do. So you can now know where to come in. Do you understand? And thank God, they came and met him. They outlined some issues or problems piled down. So he's right now to sit on it, look at what the problems are. Lack of sponsorship. What do I do to get sponsors? To respond to that? No TV broadcast, poor officiating.
People cannot see our league on TV.
Do you understand? Yes, but you'll be wondering. You just go into just TV, you see South African leagues playing live matches, Zambia and all of that. But Nigeria, you hardly see turn on DSTV channel and you find Nigerian Premier League being played live match. Do you understand? It's worrisome. So these are some of the advantages that other African countries are having. So and lack of
poor officiating. Let's look at poor officiating. And not that big one.
Yes, because that's why sometimes, even when at the end of the day a certain team is able to win the league, to participate or to compete with his other African counterpart becomes a problem, because this a kind of must win, a home must win mentality. It has been destroying our league for a very, very long time. When you're good, you're good. You can go to an away match and win. Then come back to your home, you'll be struggling to even get a draw or so. That's how it's supposed to be. And I want to probably say something here. The referees, at least the referees should be taken care of by the management, not the club. Because if you leave the club, if you leave the referee, the club to take care of the referee, automatically you have to dance to their tune. Because if you don't do well, at the end of the day, probably even the transport money to go back to your destination you might not be able to get. So the sponsorship of the officiating officials should be taken care by the board. They could get a committee, organize them, whoever is going where, whatever amount, you settle it there. Even if the club will pay to the board, then the board will not take care of the referees. I think that it will help us a lot. Yes.
Now, still going back to the list of problems facing Nigerian Professional Football League outlined by the club owners of the NPFL, lack of match integrity. There are a lot of, all of them are inclusive here. Yeah. You know, a lot of issues here and there, insufficient funding, you know, not enough money to pay players, you know, money to sign players or to take care of their welfare and all that. You know, you just have to look at that poor remuneration of rematch officials and who indebtedness in this area. You just have to look at it. Much officials that are coming, you know, when they are not being taken care of, they will not be at least given that particular passion they are supposed to put into the game. And indebtedness, a lot of clubs are owing, you know. Matches won on the basis of highest bidder. You see players issue of betting coming in and they are selling matches and all that. And we've seen poor infrastructures. There's some stadium you see in Nigeria, you'll be like, is this a stadium or a primary school?
Compared to other stadiums in other African countries.
You see some stadiums, not even Africa, in Nigeria here, you compare some stadium of some clubs in NPFL to some club also in the same NPFL, be like, wow, see, the gap is so wide, so wide.
Like in the issue of indebtedness of players, I want to say something here. If the management can summon every club to have certain percentage of money in its account before the commencement of the league, I think it will be very, very good. It will help the players and it will help resolve this issue of, at the end of the day, as a player, you finish the season with the club and you're being owed. It doesn't really make sense.
Now, I look at another situation which a lot of people don't really see now. When it comes to club management, you know, 80%, in fact, 90% of the club playing NPFL are government-owned.
Owned clubs.
Maybe except for Remo Stars, MFM.
Just few are owned by individuals.
Now, if you remember vividly, in the 80s, BCC Lions, Julius Berger, all these clubs.
Stationary stores and the rest.
Individually, or conglomerates or companies running them, and they were successful. They
were doing very, very well. They did well.
Now, compare if the state government are the one running the football now, yes, they run it the way they like because they are the one dictating the tune of, has to do with funding.
Sure.
But if an individual is running it, you just have to go extra mile to make sure your team stay afloat because this is your business.
Yeah.
You understand? But because it's government-owned, a lot of issues here and there that people don't really care much, just release money to go for matches. At times you see people being owed 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Players retire, they can't get their money. A lot of issues here and there. And if we don't go back to make sure these clubs are run like real business clubs, the way we watch European club side, and we really love to watch them because they are running as business. Everything is working as business.
Sure.
Jersey sales, boot sales, everything. In fact, come on, somebody signing autograph, that can be auctioned and they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
We can do all these here. Why don't we just go back to what made Nigerian league to be so exciting in the 80s?
And strong in
that
the
you
80s.
Go to the stadium to go and watch Benden Insurance, Shooting Stars, Abiola Babes, Stationary Stores, BC Lions, Racine SC, all these clubs I'm mentioning. It's not as if they are from Japan or Congo.
Yeah.
They actually
here
existed here. So what happened to them? Majority of them are gone defunct or moribund.
And surprisingly, I want to believe government-owned clubs should be
more
better
viable
because there's money. Money is always voted for
more,
sports.
the reason is because, you know, Nigeria, that mentality is government, as if government is one particular head somewhere, not knowing that all of us are actually the government.
Yes.
So nobody cares.
So
if everything is going down, nobody cares.
Probably source money, bring managers that knows football in and out, then entrust this money into these hands so that they run this game properly. You understand? We have in every state we have ex-professionals that play the game to some certain level. Do you understand? Even if it's just retirees from the Super Eagles and all of that, I think almost the whole state has 1 or 2. Bring these people together. What will it take for us to be there? The money is not the problem because states have money. Unless if states tell you they don't have money, they are not saying the truth. Unless there's no problem. Anywhere there's problem, check out like insecurity, they've put money there to take care of that issue. Well, unless there's no issue. If there are issues, they must have to look for money and solve this thing. And there's money for sport in every state. Do you understand? So they should get capable hands that can run this thing effectively, engage them, and give them this money. Let them run it. So at the end of the day, if a player is supposed to be paid on the 25th of every month, let him be paid so that he do his best. If you people are not getting what you want from a player, you can ask him to leave and you bring his replacement. You understand? That will go a long way in helping us. But this like of you finish your matches, and most of our footballers presently in this country, they are eager and hungry to go out because of the issues we're having. Poverty is everywhere. And when you are into football and all of that, we see all these people from Europe, the kind of money they have and all of that. So you are supposed to rescue your family as a footballer, especially if you're doing well. So when you, after finish playing and all of that, you are not getting your benefit. It's worrisome. You understand?
Well, we've been talking, analyzing concerning Nigerian football, and the club owners met with the current NFF president, Ibrahim Gusau. And now, when it comes to the issue of stadium, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that really a lot of things that we need to put in place? That stadium you are looking at, or the pitch, somebody somewhere will be employed. That poor infrastructure as a facility manager, you understand, to manage the facility, to make sure it's in good order, because I know the issue of maintenance culture, we don't really have it.
We don't
when
have
we
it.
have an
We don't
edifice
have it.
or a sport infrastructure, immediately it's constructed and we used it for, nobody cares anymore. It's not supposed to be like that.
Yes.
If you look at some pitches, oh my goodness, I saw before they fixed the Salami Stadium in Ibadan, I was like, what is this? This is an eyesore. Who plays football here? You understand?
Yeah.
You see some pitches, you'll be wondering, but it can be fixed. It can be
fixed,
done. Yeah. If you want to run it, it's either you don't want to run the club as a state government, or you want to run it. Not that you run halfway and then you be like, you know, there is no money now. Nobody is forcing you to hold a club. It's not by force. If you cannot, it's not all the 36 states that have a club in Nigeria.
Sure.
If you know you cannot run it, then back out and let it be privatized. Let somebody run it. If you don't want to leave it totally because of the name of maybe it's carrying the name of your state, you can sell some stake to the individual, run it. Well, we have some stake too, as at least. Then make it look like a business.
Like I want to really applaud the Minister of Sports, because when he came on board, he tried to resurrect some sports that we've not heard of about them for quite some time. Do you understand? So if really a club cannot take care of its stadium to be played, the board should consider other stadiums that are not too far from their states. They can be playing their matches there. After all, like in South Africa, there are some stadiums that are being used by 2-3 clubs. You understand? They fix their matches at different times, so that at least we have very good pitches, where we can have this coverage, whatever. Do you understand? So I want to believe they should put that on. If any state or any club cannot take care of its stadium to standard, then they should look for a closer venue that is not too far from the state, so that they can be playing their home games there. I think that will improve our game.
Well, we've been talking about the NPFL. A lot of things needs to be done if we want to make it viable and at least more standard as it ought to be. If countries like South Sudan, countries Libya, a lot of even small nations are running their leagues so well, why can't we just do our own right? And gone are those days when we had them in the 80s, when almost everyone wants to go to the stadium to watch all the teams earlier mentioned. We need to get back to that particular style of making it very lucrative, making it business-like, make it business, and let everyone really make it in this particular sector. Really, sport can employ and change the fortune of this country if we really take it as business. We've been looking at that now. Quickly, let's move away from that and talk about the Nigerian National League. The Super 4 ought to have come up earlier, but due to flooding, that's the story we are looking at next. NNL postponed Super 4 tournament over flooding. Yes, it's supposed to be coming up in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, and right now, flood almost everywhere. It has really been very big, or a disastrous one in Bayelsa State. And right now, the management of Nigerian National League deemed it fit to postpone it and please studying the situation. Now it will be coming up 25th, and we want to see how Doma United, Vende Insurance, El Kanemi, Bayelsa United just have to wait now. From 16th, it has been pushed to 25th, and they are still watching if the flood will actually move then they can have this particular competition. NNL there, we'll be talking about it. And quickly, let's go international as we look at English Premier League fixtures. Matches will be coming up today. And quickly, let's look at the matches. Brighton will be playing against Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Vincent, Nottingham, after buying a whole club, a set of players, they are really wallowing on the. If you look at the way the table is standing, you see that Nottingham are not just trying to get back to the city. They want to remain in the forest. Let me use that word. Against Brighton, that match is coming up. We have two Nigerians, Awoni and Emmanuel Dennis. You see them scoring tonight.
Yes, like Nottingham Forest. They are struggling. They did not really find their feet in the Premier League. Probably is it that the league is too difficult for them? I don't get it.
But they qualified. They fought hard to qualify.
They fought hard to qualify. They fought hard to qualify. So what I expect them to do is to try very, very hard to maintain their place in the Premier League so that they don't sink. Because it can be worrisome, it can be devastating when you just come up and the next season you're going back to where you came from. Do you understand? So what I expect them to do, because it's not that easy, so they should try and probably maintain their place in the Premiership, so that as they are playing the Premiership, as they are struggling, they try to look at areas where they are lacking. They try to look at areas where they are having issues, so that by next season, they will know who they need to bring in to stabilize their team. I think that is what they're supposed to concentrate on presently.
Still looking at games that will be coming up. Crystal Palace will also be playing against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it's as the way it is. Wolverhampton Wanderers too, because issue of coaching here and there, and they too, they are struggling. Crystal Palace, I think I'm tilting towards them one way or the other. They should be able to win this game.
Yeah, with the kind of players, the Zaha and the rest, I should think they will win, because like Crystal Palace, there's one thing that always motivates the team. They have a lot of blacks in the team, and when you see they are being stubborn in the sense that they don't resist. They always fight, even if it's when they are losing, you see them coming stronger, coming harder, because they actually know what they are looking for. At the end of the day, they always get what they want.
Crystal Palace always know how to do their business of facing the big teams there. Now, let's go Spanish La Liga. Matches will be coming up also in the Spanish La Liga. Quickly, Valencia, a big one against Sevilla. Can they do this against Valencia? Getafe over there in Madrid be hosting Atletico Bilbao, who lost against Atletico Madrid, at least at home. Atletico Madrid will want to consolidate on their winning away as they play at the Metropolitano against Rayo Vallecano. Big matches there, Vincent.
Yeah, like Atletico Madrid, I want to give them the match because they just went away and they won. So they'll come back home to try to
consolidate. But don't you think they went away, they won? Yes. Atletico Bilbao that was at home lost. So they too can be at home and lose this game.
Yeah, it's possible. But remember, they have one madman on their bench that he actually knows what he's doing. He doesn't sit down until he gets the desired result.
I hope if we see him now, can you tell him that very strong
but his own madness is positive madness.
I understand. Just trying to pull your leg.
Because he knows what you want. So he don't sit down and relax until he gets it. He's one of the only coaches that you see him standing throughout the duration of 90 minutes.
Diego Simeone, very aggressive.
He tries to correct it immediately. He doesn't wait when he has time before he makes that corrections.
Good one there. At least matches will be coming up. Sevilla, Valencia, Atletico Bilbao play away. While Madrid, that's Atletico Madrid play home. Matches will be coming up, and we just look at them. Vallecano will be against them, and Getafe will host Atletico Bilbao, who lost last time. Valencia, Sevilla, action-packed match there. A lot of people want to see what will Valencia be doing away from their Mestalla Stadium as they face Sevilla there. Now, let's go German. Although the DFB Pokal, as they call it, will be coming up. DFB Pokal, that's the cup fixtures. Leipzig will play against Hamburg SV, so that's against Eintracht Frankfurt. You have Waldorf Mannheim against Nuremberg. Mainz 05 will play away to Lübeck. Brunswick will be hosting Wolfsburg in an away game. While you have Elversberg will be at home against Bochum 1848. Darmstadt 98 will be playing against Borussia Mönchengladbach, in at least hosting them in that game. It's 99 Offenheim will be playing against Schalke 04. Jose Vasquez of of how they play in the Bundesliga, where Hoffenheim defeated Schalke, and now Schalke will be traveling to Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim won away against Schalke. Now, can Schalke do the same thing against them? That will be a game you want to see, because it's like they are playing Bundesliga, but this time around is in German DFB. Leipzig, Hamburg. Hamburg, a team that you just don't underrate them. You do that at your own peril. Stuttgart Kickers will be playing against Eintracht Frankfurt. These are the matches slated for German DFB pokals. And quickly, let's look at Italian Coppa fixtures that will be coming up. They call it Coppa Italia. Genoa against XPL, we call it Spal. Cittadella against Torino. Well, the team called Torino, where we have Nigerian Ola Aina. He'll be playing for that team there against Cittadella in the Italian Coppa Cup there. The fixtures, 2 matches will be coming up. Can Genoa do it against XPL? Torino against Cittadella. Let me talk about this with you. Ola Aina has been a player that, when you look at his physique, you'll be like, this player, but really, he has been fantastic. The way he moves, the way he plays football, especially since he moves to Torino, outstanding player. You can, quietly, he has been able to achieve with Torino.
Yes, he has been consistent, and just like you rightly said, when you look at his physique, build,
yes,
his physique, you might think, can this player deliver? But he knows what he's carrying. He knows how to move around with his body, and his contribution to the team has been very, very awesome. He has been doing fantastic well. Do you understand? He knows what to do at the right time. Off and on the ball. One thing I like about him is, on the ball, he is good. Off the ball, he knows where to place himself and be defensive at all times. So at all times you find him running, either running with the ball or running without the ball.
Good one there. We just look at fixtures for this for today. Matches will be played, and quickly let's talk about 2 transfer story where Abia Warriors, yes, they play in the NPFL, but right now they've signed Femi Thomas, Iwu Emmanuel, Anekwe Ugonna, Isa Seidu from Halfland, Kwara United, MFM, and also Ota Solo. 4 players that will be joining Abia Warriors now. Can they do it? Imama Amapakabo, Abia Warriors. Although I don't know how they are able to scoop it. I know they are owing a lot of players. That was the news there at that time before the league ended. But now they signed 4 players. Femi Thomas.
Yes, I am happy about this transfer, and it so happened that Femi Thomas was my teammate in Nasarawa United.
Seriously, still playing up to
2005. Yes, he's a veteran goalkeeper. He was young. He was very young.
Goalkeepers have more, at least, longevity than the players.
Yes, than other players. You understand? And he's a goalkeeper that he has kept in tournaments like Confederation Cups. There's no league matches that he has not seen. He has played internationally. He was in, I think, under 20 or under 23 national team for a very long time. At a point, I think he was one of the invitees to Super Eagles and all of that. So he's a veteran goalkeeper, and I want to believe his inclusion in the team will be a boost to the team. And not minding whether they paid, they did not pay. At the end of the season, every player wants to participate in the league. Whether there's no money, money will always be secondary. But the primary role of every player, or the primary aim of every player, is to have a team and be playing. Then money now comes later.
I understand.
So even with or without money, players are ready to join other teams.
I understand where you are coming from. To let you know that Vincent Christopher, a former player of Nasarawa United, Plateau United, he played football. Like how many, aside it, so I mentioned, how many teams did you play for?
Well, I started from Gombe United. I came to Plateau United. From Plateau United, I moved to Nasarawa. Then moved to Aqua United under Charles Bassi then. Then came back to Wiki Tories. I played Wiki Tories and come back to Jude FC in Jos when Siasia was our coach then. You understand? So those are the clubs I played, like 6-7 clubs or so. Okay,
you were not opportune to play outside Nigeria?
I traveled once and came back, and I traveled to Qatar again and came back. Just for one season.
You went for a season?
Yes, but I did not play in France. I just went, and the deal was not too real and all of that, so we came back. But it was Qatar I played for a season.
Automatically, at least you were able. Did you play any underage club? the team for Nigeria, maybe 17, 20?
No, really.
Okay, good one. But at least you have a good journey when it comes to NPFL.
Yeah, sure.
Aqua, Wiki, Nasarawa, Plateau, yes.
Gombe.
Mr. Nigeria, NPFL. Good one there. We've been talking about NPFL. And someone is here, an ex-player, just to inspire you out there. If you are a player, never, ever give up. Look at Karim Benzema. He never gave up his dream of getting better, and now he has won the Ballon d'Or to be the best player in the whole world. While the likes of Ronaldo were winning it, he was watching, he was holding on, he was celebrating. That's a particular picture that was actually circulated where he stood watching, clapping for Ronaldo, clapping for James Rodriguez and all that. He was able to do it, and right now, believing in himself. He believed in himself, and now he has done it. Just like Vincent, he moved around, and now he has done well. And before we go, the last story has to do with Aston Villa. News actually came out that they could be getting rid of, Steven Gerrard, but right now, it's still a rumor. Anyway, Aston Villa are interested in Mauricio Pochettino as a possible replacement for Steven Gerrard. Right now, it's getting tough for Aston Villa, and well, the Englishman just have to be careful because the news are becoming ripe each hour. Well, Pochettino could be the one to take over. That's if they get him sacked.
I don't know. I don't know if this is necessary because sometimes, like when you're a little bit patient with a coach or with some certain players, he might turn things around. Take for instance, Arsenal. They were struggling, almost like going to relegation. They were battling for years, and they believe in who they have as a coach. They encourage him. Probably people were calling for his sack and all of that, but they never bothered. And today, look at where they are. Do you understand? And this Steven Gerrard, as a player, he was a fantastic player. So, and I want to believe, as a coach, he will do well. All he needs probably is just time, little patience, and he will be there.
So all you are saying is Aston Villa should be patient with him?
Yes, because the other coach, that is Pochettino, that they're calling for, he was sacked somewhere, I guess. He was asked to go somewhere.
A coach will always be sacked somewhere, and then you can do well somewhere.
Like in the game of football, either coach or a player, hiring and firing, we're used to it. It's part of the job.
Especially for coaches.
Especially for coaches, because a player will make mistake, the hammer will come on the coach's head. Do you understand? So me, I want to believe they should just give him just little patience, little time, and see if he can adjust.
Well, just so that something can be done. Aston Villa looking at Pochettino, if we be the one to take over, that's if he's going to taking over the position of Steven Gerrard if he's sacked. Well, that will be it on 360 Sport on Trust TV. It has been a wonderful time with Vincent Christopher. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Good one. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Sport is always business and fitness. Thanks for watching.